everyone, welcome to Cheese Friday. Hi, welcome to the Radical Geek YouTube channel where we upload videos most Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, and on Sunday we host a live stream of affectionately coined coffee talk. And on Fridays we usually have Cheese Friday where I taste a cheese and tell you a couple little tidbits and facts about it. But today I thought, I was out of it on Wednesday, and so we didn't actually do our Wednesday video. Let's make this one a little more special. Been a lot of craziness in the groceries. Sometimes you can't get cream cheese, which is a keto favorite, and so I thought we should just make some. So what is cream cheese? Cream cheese is a cow's milk. Let me move my keyboard. We don't need that. It's a cow's milk cheese. It's a soft cheese. It's got a very gentle flavor, but also a bit of a tang to it, and I'll show you why. It's also really easy to make. So we'll just dive right in, and then we can talk a little bit while it cooks. Cooks is maybe a weird word, but that's what we're doing. I've got 2 cups of heavy cream. And let me just get my spoon here. So 2 cups of heavy cream and 2 cups of, I'm using Fairlife milk, which by the way, I'm pretty sure it should work today, but I will tell you it's prone to failure when you use Fairlife as opposed to regular whole milk. But we prefer the Fairlife milk. It has fewer carbohydrates to start with, and we are draining off the whey, so regular whole milk will also be fine. It just happens to be a preference, and it was on sale this week, so Fairlife it is. If it fails, it's not the end of the world. We actually just use it for other applications, and I can explain a little bit about that, but it's basically tart sour milk, so we don't discard it. We just sort of deal with it, use it for other things, cereals, things like that. And I mean keto cereals. We don't go all crazy and suddenly binge on carbs. That would be weird. So, but, so anyway, so our 2 regular milk, that's right, 50-50, 50-50 fat and regular, which also has a decent amount of fat in it, but way less. And that's actually a thing about cream cheese, is that the definition of cream cheese is that it should have about 55% fat. So it's a pretty hearty. That's part of another reason why it's partly good for ketogenic diets. That is because of the high fat, which if you are on a therapeutic keto diet, you need that fat. It's really excellent for you. I'm going to just get this going. I have a thermometer here that I've put my probe in, because what we're going to do now is warm this milk up to about 165 to 175 degrees. It's a little important not to overheat your milk. It helps if my probe is actually in the milk. But it's not the end of the world. If you do overdo it and you bring it to a boil, shut it off, let it cool down a little bit, and then we'll start the rest of the process. But you might not get like the best cream cheese. You might be better off leaving it, and it'll be grainier, so it's more ricotta, which this is pretty much the same procedure as ricotta, only you don't use the heavy cream. You would just use all milk. So it's a good procedure to learn. And we'll just got to get this warmed up, and then we will talk about the next steps. I will show you some of the equipment, though. We're not high-tech here in this house. I've got my little colander, got my bowl for draining, and I've talked about these before. This is a cheesecloth, not to be confused with the lacy cheesecloth that you get. You could absolutely use that, but you'll need to like triple it up in your colander. This is a thin muslin type linen. It's all 100% cotton. No bleach, no dyes, nothing like that to it. And it's literally, its role is for making cheese. And we've used it for our yogurt straining and other stuff too. But it's going to sit right here in the colander, and when we're done making our curds, this is where we're going to pour it in and squeeze all the whey out, making our carbs go away. So that's the other reason that cream cheese is also a very acceptable and a great cheese if you are on a ketogenic diet, because it's also had the whey pulled out of it. And most cheese is fairly low carb because you don't generally keep the whey in there. So those are some little tidbits there. So, and I told you about the 55% fat, so that's a good thing. It will tell you about like the origin of cream cheese, but to be honest, it's one of those things like some of the coffees we've talked about where there's a lot of weird stories out there and you don't really know which is true and not true. There are reports of like a cream cheese being used in like the late 1500s in European countries, but there is like that huge popular story about the guy who was trying to make his ricotta and then or Neufchâtel, I can't remember which one it was, and then he did something wrong and then boom, had cream cheese. Well, you know, it's kind of like one of those tall tales, although it's weird to have a tall tale about cheese. I don't mind. You know, it's delicious and it's really great to me. Now, while this is heating, I can tell you some of the things too that we usually talk about with cheese, which is the texture. It's a soft cheese. And I'm going to just give this a stir. I can see it steaming up nicely. I'm sorry I don't have a clear pot big enough for this cheese making endeavor. It just doesn't, I just don't have it. I've looked for one, but they're not readily available, and at least not affordably. Not one that can also go on the flames. So, but I'm just going to give this a stir. And you can hear my little dog. He's so upset because I'm down here in the studio and I didn't bring him down here. He does not need to be where there is food. It's just not okay. But he's very sad because I had to go to the office and he's been a very lonely little dog. So, but yeah. I see I got off track and I forgot what I was telling you. Oh yeah. So it's a soft cheese, 100%. It's a soft cheese. You're not slicing it. It's a spread. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts. It's an exception to the rule about the whole your goat milk would be very, very white. And we're already up to temperature. So we're going to turn the heat down a whole bunch and just kind of monitor it so it doesn't get too hot. I say, except for I'm totally not doing it. And here's the next step where we're going to make the cheese. I have here the juice of 1 lemon. Now, important, you need to use fresh lemon juice. Jarred lemon juice does not seem to work. You can use vinegar. I think lemon juice just comes with a better product in the end. So, yep, we're in great shape. I'm just trying to get the flame just right. But this is what's going to curdle the milk. So you just do it 1 spoon at a time, and then you start stirring in a figure 8 pattern. Just make your 8s. You remember in grade school practicing making your 8s? Figure 8s? Around, across, around. Yeah, I know. Real mature, Matreo, whatever. But, yeah. So that's what we're going to do here until we get curds. Now, sometimes with some milks, it will get yellowish, but for the most part, especially with the heavy cream in here, it goes stark white. So, don't worry about it. And we'll know in a couple minutes, too, if we need to go and juice an extra lemon. The lemon was not as juicy as I would have hoped. And also your curds will sometimes be teeny tiny. Sometimes they're harder to see than others. I can see some curds sticking to the top of the pot on the side. So I'm just going to keep going. It does take a little bit of effort. I'm good with the spoon now. I'm just going to do a little drizzle at a time. Keep doing my figure 8s. So it does take a few minutes. So we'll go ahead and we'll just take a break while I continue this process and get our curds going. And then we will regroup and I'll show you how we're going to drain it and then finish it off. So I've gotten all of the lemon juice mixed in. And I will say, you know, how I mentioned sometimes it doesn't work because the Fairlife milk is ultra filtered, ultra pasteurized. I've gotten some curds, but not as much as I would normally like to see. Just happens sometimes. So I'm not sure that this is a 100%, but we will go ahead and get it into the strainer and then come back in like an hour or so, squeeze it out real good and see what we got. I can show you though, at least on the spoon, you can see that it's gotten, well, maybe you can't see. I don't know if I can really get close enough to the camera, but you can see curds sticking to the spoon. There you go. And they've got, so there's your cheese. You didn't see that. But, so now we're just going to take these and we're going to put it right into our strainer. And let it go from there. So, and you can see some whey separating out there, and this will about half by volume because of all the whey that's going to leak out, and this part, the part that didn't curdle up, we'll see from there. You can use this stuff in recipes and all of that other good stuff. So we'll be back. It does take a little bit to cool and come together, and I'll show you. We'll do the last bit of squeezing once it's done draining through, and then we'll try our cream cheese. Oh, well, we'll finish it off in the food processor once we got everything going. Just a minute. Quite some time has passed. As you can see, our whey has come out in the bottom of the bowl. I've taken the liberty of grabbing this and giving it a little bit of an extra squeeze. No more whey is coming out. So we have not the nicest cream cheese looking because it's a bit on the lumpy side. Very ricotta-ish that has been squished together. So what's the next step? The next step is the food processor. If you don't have one, a blender will work. I see a lot of people use blenders. I like the food processor. Let's throw some gloves on so that we don't get too messy. And this will make a loud noise. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how, you know, I know I keep telling you I'm going to get all the whole filtering kind of stuff done, but I have not. So it is what it is. We're going to have some loud noise, and well, I'll be happy about it because we're making cheese, right? So, and if not, well, that's what the mute button can help you with this. So I'm just going to take some of my lumps here. I suppose I can actually, it's so soft that I can actually just kind of like squish a lot of it together. I'm going to teach you the right way though. As you can see, it's all broken up into, well, okay, now my gloves hide it, but you can see it's a lump. I've just got them squished together. The curds it doesn't become a paste just because we drained it and squeezed it. It kind of does. This is probably one of my better lucky batches of cream cheese because it came out so soft. So that was good, but it isn't as creamy and smooth as it will be once we finish this part. Let's tuck it all down in there. No worries. This is the best part. It is still warm. It's kind of burning my fingers a little bit there. It's not really burning them, but yeah, and there you go. You can see it took out quite a lot of the whey. So let's get rid of that. Maybe give some to my poor lonely little dog. Struggle with it. And here we go. I'm just going to hit low. And you see it worked really fast. It all just sort of spun up. It's still a little lumpy, so I'm going to give it a little squish around. Is what it is. Sometimes if it's too dry because you're too aggressive at squeezing it, if you want, you can throw a teensy bit of that whey back in. But I don't actually like the way tastes. I like my cream cheese. So let's give this a little bit more of a spin. There we go. I can stop torturing you now. Not much we can do about that, but check this out. It's a winner. It's perfect. It's delightful. And it's a fantastic little snack of a meal. I have my egg buns for, if you haven't made them yet, I can tell you, I've really got it down for my personal preference, and I could not be more thrilled. So, yeah, here we go. Yeah. If I hide my face. Oh, it turned green from the green screen. It doesn't look green in real life. It's a nice bread color. Honestly, it's better than the box. Not that box cream cheese is bad, but man, there is nothing like your homemade stuff. So that's it. Cheese Friday. I know this was really long and kind of involved, and we had to pause a lot. It did take like 2 hours for this to drain. Forever. All right. I'll see everybody on Sunday. Oh, that's right. We're going to try that wacky Reddit thing. That'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. We'll try that. The Americano steamed to froth it to mimic the nitro cold brew. Ooh, I'm looking forward to it. See you then. Bye-bye. I'm a liar. It tastes delicious, but you know what? It does need one more thing. And that would be, I'm going to blend it once more. I won't torture you and make you listen. I'm going to throw a teensy bit of salt in there. And then afterwards, one last thing I forgot. I have my scapes that I've cut up into teeny tiny. And so I'm going to stir that in because I like it flavored. You can mix it with everything. Okay, now I'm really done. I'll see you Sunday. Bye-bye.